本節目內主持人及嘉賓的言論純屬個人意見，並不代表本台立場。
Hello.
Hey.
Hi. This is Boiling Point, new weekly show, English language. We're going to be talking about Hong Kong affairs, Hong Kong news, and I'm Ben.
I'm Julian.
This is MJ.
And Julian.
And, we have such a wonderful intro for the show, with all these boiling, all these flames.
Yeah.
And
looking.
when ordinary Hong Kong people, they go with their everyday life, they have no idea that we're actually in deep shit. They have no such awareness.
Yes, I think from the outside, Hong Kong looks pretty normal.
Yeah.
But once you get to know it a little bit, you realise it's a seething underneath, and there's building problems, building anger.
It's like there's a very famous theory which has been raised by a comedian actually, and it's called 网烚烚. And he is he is honored by the goddess of 网烚烚of Hong Kong and for the local culture. And his theory is the PRC is trying to boil us like frogs in cool water instead of warm water or hot water. So at the first place, we're in cool water and we don't feel any dangers.
Because it's gradual.
Yeah. So you
don't notice the temperature difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And when the temperature had risen for a little bit, and we felt
you were already well done.
Is still okay. It's a little bit warm, and we are feeling a little bit but it's still okay. But when we feel,
a spa.
Yeah, and we are sitting in a spa and just chilling. And after some time, and when it's all done, then you're done.
Yeah, it's very incrementalist. It's very gradual. It's the process is known as mainlandization, I think. The Hong Kong people always talk about Dai Lok Fa.
Yeah, or Tek Fa.
Tek Fa.
It's like when we compare what we are like today with the time right before the handover, and then we'll notice the significant difference. But it's like everyday life. It's like they make all these subtle changes, bit by bit, and then we just fail to know.
Yeah.
But anyway, first things first. I think we gotta introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
To our audiences, and why don't you start first?
Yeah, I'm Ben, and
to those guys.
That's all I'm going to say actually at this point. Yeah.
Agent Ben.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to protect
right.
himself.
My name is Julian. I'm a diviner. That means my job is to look into people's future, the world's future, and I was a regular host in a show in my radio, which is also about politics and sometimes medical stuff. But now I'm here.
Medical stuff?
Yeah, medical stuff like stem cells and shit like that.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fancy. Well, I'm MJ, and hi all. Nothing much. Just trying to be really objective and kind of examine stuff and like to look for the truth behind all the scenes and all the mistakes and stuff.
Actually, the wonderful part about this group is MJ is really into those historical facts, those things that we don't know about, which is really cool. And I think something's cool about Ben is he's really into what's really going on now. Like he's really has the he's very sensitive to all these changes. But me, I'm just my concern is only about the future. So that's what we have here: the past, the present, and the future.
Did you do a reading on the future of Hong Kong?
Yes, but I think today's episode it's really not about that reading actually.
Okay.
But we can talk about that like
Maybe a little bit
at
later
certain
on.
point.
Yeah.
Why don't we say something about the kind of English language news environment in Hong Kong? I was saying to you earlier that it's basically, it's either Chinese propaganda or kind of American Western propaganda. There's very little independent commentary, or I think anyway. So I think that's a void we're going to fill.
I mean, for the folks out there, they just have. We just don't have access to the real deal. I mean, the real kind of news. It's because all these mainstream media in Hong Kong, they actually they all have. Most of them got like Chinese background, communist background, and even in some occasions it's like the U.S. background. So we have a hard time when it comes to looking at the real news, because it's all like tainted.
Yep.
They all have been penetrated somehow. Either by the capital or either by the workers, because workers is from the mainland is just cheap. Well, apparently it is much cheaper than other employees in Hong Kong. So we can see lots of cases that there are some cultural conflicts, and it's apparently from the culture from mainland and from Hong Kong. So even for people who are in the industry of news, it do affects a lot.
Right. Especially like, for example, it's a really good example, the TVB.
Yeah.
TVB, I think the chief editor or whoever is responsible for the whole news department, it's well known that I think Mrs. Yun, Mr. Yun, and I think rumor had said that it was like since the Tiananmen incident, because he was there, maybe he got intimidated, or maybe he got maybe somebody from the Communist Party has actually approached him, gave him some kind of maybe a bribe or maybe a warning. I don't know. But after that, there was this really significant change when it comes to how they
deal with news.
Yeah. How they do news.
Yeah.
We have this, for example, we have this incident like this lawyer who got beaten up in the dark corner, right, by the cops, and TVB has a really biased or weird kind of perspective when it comes to reporting that piece of news.
Well, let's say every media has their own stand, but TVB stand is just kind of strange, and it swifts all the time, but it always benefits the PRC also, or the authorities.
Hong Kong people call TVB CCTVB, right?
Yeah, or
the CC part stands for like what the Chinese it's like the Communist Party's television
official television
the
of,
kind
in
of
Hong
thing.
Kong. Yeah.
So it's really hard for the commoners to
And the shitty series in TVB.
And even in TVB Pearl,
Yeah.
Ben should be really familiar with what the
That guy?
TVB Pearl with how they do news and commentary. You know.
Is that,
The reporter guy who been in an interview and he was saying something like, "We are not that biased" or something like that.
was that Michael Chigani?
Yeah. What did he say?
Chugani is the name, right?
I know Chugani is a pro-China commentator. He's in the.
Is he used to be, or
He is.
he is?
Yeah.
He was.
Well, he still has articles in the South China Morning Post, which of course is owned by Alibaba now. He's on TVB. He's in the South China Morning Post. He has a show on RTH. Does he have a show on RTHK as well? I don't know. But
It's really unusually conservative when it comes to the uprising of the young people, and when it comes to protests.
oh yeah, we haven't mentioned Fishball Revolution. It's the 1 year anniversary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
This week.
Yeah.
already one year.
Well, actually, it happens right on today or yesterday, isn't it?
Well, I guess it started last night and went
last night.
until this morning, 1 year ago.
Yeah.
So what happened 1 year ago was
Yeah, and I have this kind of book. It's very pictorial. I bought it at the Chinese University Student Union for $100. It's we know the.
why don't you show our audiences
have to go up to
the cover of
It's a bit hard to
this?
see probably, but
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a really good pictorial record of what's happened
yes,
during the Fishball Revolution.
yes.
It was
From
done by.
Oh, you got
by,
a signature. Who is the signature? Is it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Obviously, it's the Fishball Revolution from the Hong Kong nationalist perspective. And as what were you saying earlier, when the
It's really rare because it was done by a very good friend of ours,
Yeah.
Mr. Daniel Zheng.
Yep.
He is a very good photographer. Every time we have any kind of protest or uprising, whatever it is, I always see him in front line, taking pictures regardless of his own
Live.
safety.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely.
That's
Definitely.
to me that's honorable, and we have all these really cool, really rare pictures of what's actually happened.
Well, I guess this is
there.
really, really critical. Because for history, we do have something like a slang in Hong Kong or in Chinese culture, and we always say history is always composed by the victories.
By the winner.
The winner, yeah, exactly. And for this kind of stuff, like no one will ever mention in the mainstream media, by the government, by the authorities, or in the official so-called written history of Hong Kong, whatsoever.
Yeah, they always want to picture the protesters like it's just
Beating shit out of the cops.
It's just chaos. They're just not obeying the law. They're defying the law, and they're causing all sorts of damages. They're making the economy bad.
And
they blame
never,
everything.
Yeah, and
They
they
blame
never
everything
bring
on the
up-
protesters,
Yeah.
and they have never gone into the true reasons why people are going out and risk their lives, their futures, just for all these.
Well, that's the point. I mean, it's called the 愚民政策. You just kind of like fool your
The more
citizens.
foolish the people are,
And
the easier
yeah.
the government can
rules
to rule over the people.
Yep.
Interesting thing about the Fishball Revolution is there was actually little or no damage to the shops or anything. It's very different from a.
I mean,
Not even a single glass has been broken. That is tremendous.
you know,
Just one taxi, right?
In that
I guess.
in that area, I mean, in Nathan Road, we all know that it's all littered with.
It's stuffed with
it's all the jewelry,
luxury
stores,
yes,
lots of gold,
shops,
diamonds, that kind of thing.
And
Not a single piece of glass was broken.
yeah,
of those shop fronts.
of the shops.
I think it's some kind of record. I mean, that's supposed to be a riot, but nothing's broken.
It's more like an irony story, though. Everyone, like even for the mass, not only the mainstream medias and the authorities, but even for the mass, I can, when I was out in the street and maybe when I was meeting friends and maybe, some relatives of friends and whatsoever, when they all said it was a riot. But, in my, as far as I can tell, I've never seen such a riot which has never break any piece, not only one piece of glass, and
nobody got killed.
Nobody got killed, and they didn't get anything from shops and whatsoever.
Nobody's robbing.
No looting.
No looting.
No looting.
Yeah.
It's kind of stupid, though.
So what actually spawned all these protests? It's actually what we're going to cover is the rise of localism.
Yeah. Well, yes. I guess the rise of localism is a reaction to the mainlandization. It's just the reaction.
It's like for example, before the handover and things like that, we don't have that many people on the streets. We don't have all these mainlanders, dragging all these luggages, cases, run over your feet and stuff. We didn't have lots of smugglers.
Well, because by the time mainland was actually close-bordered, and
because we actually have a border.
That's crucial.
Now, wow.
That's brutal, indeed. Actually, speaking of that, actually, we had some kind of the really pioneer of the localism, we call it later. It started from the 70s. And it has been raised by some scholars and also some culture workers about preserving the somehow like dignity or the traditions, yes, and cultures of being a Hong Konger.
Language.
Yeah, well, in terms of like language, in terms of like some kind of traditions, like we do Lunar New Year's and the characters, which is really crucial part. We have traditional Chinese characters instead of simplified characters, which is simplified Chinese characters is like scholars don't even consider it as a Chinese,
because it was supposed to be used by those soldiers back in the war period when those soldiers they just couldn't read, and they have to invent some kind of simplified Chinese words just for them to carry out orders and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's not supposed to be the real, the genuine Chinese characters, Chinese writings.
And I'm surprised you called it simplified, because that's the mainland Chinese term. I thought it was like
crippled
or
crippled.
standard.
Crippled
Chinese.
Kind of Chinese, because something's missing. It's like missing a limb. The word for love. There's no heart.
It's more like a disabled Chinese.
Disabled?
Yeah.
Disabled, crippled, well, it doesn't matter, just the same shit to me.
Well, it is. It is for the disabled at the very beginning, I guess.
Okay.
The communists they claim that, well, actually, lots of people they're buying this shit just they thought it was making people who couldn't read at all, who could somehow read or could be more adaptable to culture or stuff.
So basically, so that those people can read and write without having any difficulties in learning genuine Chinese. But I think we are running out of time for the first session.
Yeah.
We are going to cover a lot more about the localism in the next session.
And the rice, yes.
Okay.
We stopped?
經錯過我哋精彩嘅節目，而家上嚟呢個網址就可以訂閱晒我哋8大頻道，付費之後仲可以重溫晒所有精彩嘅節目。記得要訂閱我哋嘅 YouTube channel 同埋讚好我哋嘅 Facebook 專頁啊！